So I just wanted to make a video of how I filter the lamps. I keep getting a lot of questions about it, so I figured make a video, at least to help some people out. I've gotten a lot of good information from our groups, which is awesome. People are so nice and willing to share information, so it's awesome that no one wants to gatekeep. I feel like that's important because then the community grows with more information. The more we know, the more we can mod. So this is my Grande. You can not really see my hand behind it. There's a ruler behind it. So I'm just using the ruler just as a reference. So once I filter it, hopefully we'll have some clear liquid to be able to look through. But this is my process. So a couple of things you're going to need for this is the Sawyer SP 128. This is what has been recommended in numerous videos and Reddit in our group. And I've done probably 10 lamps now with multiple SP 128 filters, and the results are insane. So this is what it looks like. Don't mind the tape. I just label it so I don't cross-contaminate anything. But normally how most people will do this, they'll buy 2-liter bottles, and you screw the 2-liter bottle on this end, and then you squeeze it, and it comes out that end filtered. Because these have little barb fittings on it, I'm actually going a little bit different route. I have food grade silicone hoses. That's my dog, if you can hear him hacking away, sorry. But I've attached the silicone hoses to the barbs, and I have a little 12-volt USB pump. So I have a couple of these actually because they're so cheap. You can get these for like 12 bucks. They're just 12-volt in. So if you have USB charger or whatever, a lot of times you just solder it on, and then you can even get these that already have the power adapter with an on-off. So I like this method because it takes the filtering process and speeds it up quite a bit. So they have all different types of these types of things. So go on Amazon, they're like 12 bucks, 15 bucks. So I made a jig, and this is just to kind of make it easier for me. So everything is stationary. I'm not fumbling around, because the first couple of times I did this, it was, I don't want to say a mess, but I ended up getting the master fluid, which I don't think is toxic. I've gotten it on me. I overpressurized the one hose on something because this was ending up getting clogged, and I shot blue master fluid all over the ceiling. So yeah, don't do that. So hopefully this is going to be a smooth process. But here's the Grande. Here's my little setup. And with the pump, I have the inlet. So in theory, what's going to happen here, sorry, I'm not a blogger or any of this stuff, so this is all new to me. The silicone hose is going to go into the Grande, suck up the fluid. It's going to then push it through the Sawyer filter, and then out comes clean fluid. I like having pitchers like this only because it makes it super easy. You can put the hose in it, and I kind of even have it so it goes to the bottom like that, so that way it doesn't introduce crazy bubbles. I don't think the foam or bubbles really is an issue, but I've just read on a lot of places and in our group that if you can avoid the bubbles, don't make bubbles. So having a shorter hose and then having it drip down is going to introduce bubbles into it. And so this is just super easy, and it just goes like that. Okay, so I'm going to pause it since I don't know how to edit videos, and we'll just keep going piece by piece. I forgot to note, so I mark the level of the fluid with blue painter's tape. Some people put the cap on and just say have it a little bit below it. I just do this for my own peace of mind, so I know exactly where, if I need to add distilled water, exactly where to top it off at. There's no guesswork. I'm not going to show how to remove the cap. There's enough videos out there of doing it. I'm going to try to just slowly peel back this, and I put blue painter's tape around this. Again, I don't want to scratch the glass. I don't want to break something, so it's easier to protect something than have it be broken and then come back and have to buy a new globe. So I'm not going to videotape this because I'm sure this is going to take me several minutes to do. So once the cap's off, we'll start back. This is actually going way quicker than what I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to try to take this off. It's already spinning, which is good. I just got to go around it a little bit more. Again, I'm glad I used tape because you can see if not, you might damage the glass. I'm going to put another thing of tape around it, see if it gets the cap off. Again, I got the plug that's recommended. So worst case scenario, if this doesn't work out, we just use the plug. I can definitely see if you're doing a lot of these, it's just easier to rip the cap off. I'm a stickler for like OEM looking stuff. So if it looks like it's never been modified, I like that look. So we'll see what happens. We'll come back to this. Okay, so that didn't take nearly as long as what I thought it was going to take. I just took a little flathead screwdriver and just slowly went along. And if you have an irrigation system, you might have something like this. It's a little Rainbird irrigation sprinkler head adjuster. This actually worked wonderfully. So if you happen to have an irrigation system, you probably have this, makes it even easier. But normal small flathead, I don't know why that's not focusing. Normal flathead screwdriver. And then again, I just taped this just to prevent any damage. So there's the plug, and I guess we just pull this out, right? There we go. Okay, so that's cool. I'm going to put this down and get everything connected and kind of started, just because I don't want to try to fumble with this one-handed while holding the phone and then mess something up. So, okay, so far so good. Really quick, whatever container you're using, make sure you clean them very well. No tap water, or you can clean it with tap water, but then I swish it around with distilled water just in case. But yeah, just make sure there's not debris in it. There's not, whatever you're using, just so you're not introducing it into the pump, the filter, and then possibly in the lamp. Okay, so this is running, sucking up the master fluid, going through the Sawyer filter. And so you can see it filling up there. So this right now, I think I've cycled this, apologies if I've already said this, but I've cycled this for almost like every day for the month that I've had it, and it really hasn't cleared up. So we're going here. I'll probably pause it here once this starts to fill up. I don't want to spill anything everywhere, but we're gonna need more here, but you can see my fingers slowly there, which is cool. So the Sawyer filter is definitely working, which is nice. And with this USB pump, I just have an extension cord here just to make it easier so I'm not fumbling. You can use different adapters, and what I've found is depending on your phone, if one's say a 2 amp or this is a little BlackBerry, so it's like 750 milliamps, it will control the speed of how fast fluid comes through. So if you do like a Samsung charger, right? These are 2 amps. You're going to flow fluid much faster through the system. I don't know if that's good or bad. So I start off with the little BlackBerry one because it does it at a nice controlled, slow-ish, but quick pace. So you can see, here's the fluid. My fingers behind it, and if we grab the ruler here just for a reference. So that's cool, right? You can see the ruler behind it compared to not so much. So this is definitely working. This is, again, my little setup. I'm trying to make things easy on my life here. So hopefully this is helpful for some folks. But if you have questions, let me know, and I'll be happy to try to answer it. Hopefully, if I don't know the answer, hopefully someone else can chime in who has more experience. So I forgot to mention a thing or two. So we're almost at the point here where I'm going to switch and use another container. One thing to keep in mind with any type of pump that you're using, they normally don't like air being introduced in them. So if you pull the hose out and you start sucking up air, it's going to have a problem sucking it in. And then when air gets into the Sawyer filter, from what I've experienced, it's a total pain in the butt to then get it to flow properly without like backwashing it and all that stuff. So if you can not introduce air into the system don't. So what I'll do here is I'll turn the pump off, and a lot of times I'll just like get like a clothespin, or I don't know what we got here, like a chip clip, right? Just so then that way I can clip it on and it doesn't start draining and then introducing air somewhere in the system. So again, it's just what I do. It seems to be working, but I mean, that's definitely working. So you can kind of see, let me kind of back up here, but yeah, so that's pretty cool. So we're on to the second container. The first one, that's pretty awesome. What a world of difference. As I get closer to the bottom here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop the video and I'm going to tilt the globe so that the tube sits around here at like this angle. So that way any fluid that's behind the wax, I noticed on some of my lamps that are the Chinese made ones, there's like this white residue junk that's on the bottom. So it does no point to filter that. And then you've got crap underneath here. So then when you turn the lamp back on, it's going to filter the crap back into the fluid. It's not going to be as cloudy, but if you can avoid it, and this would be the step to try to avoid that. So I'm going to pause it now and tilt the globe. All right, doing this one-handed real quick just to show you this is kind of what I do. I want the liquid to be kind of at that point, so then you can kind of see the liquid's going to fall behind from the wax. I could actually probably make a little stand where this would be easier and then it would be truly hands-free. Who knows? We'll see. This is my first Grande, so okay. Okay, so the globe is drained. Everything that I just said, don't introduce air. By me fumbling around trying to videotape this, of course, there's going to now be air here in the system, so we'll purge that out. That's fine. This might be controversial. I don't know. But the way I have this set up, it's very easy now for me to take the inlet that I just sucked up from the globe, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back in the pitcher. So it's going to go through the Sawyer filter one more time before putting it in the globe. So technically it's going to filter it twice. I don't know if that's needed. I don't know if it does any damage. The other globes I've done this with, it's not changed the flow at all. So I don't suspect anything's going to happen with this, but it's just so easy to have it go through the system. I figure, why not? I'm here. So we'll start that now. Okay, I'm back. I had to put that on the counter and raise this entire pitcher up above the pump because I had airlocked this and the filter. It was a crap show. So don't do that. But it is filling. You can see there's some bubbles there, but that's from the initial airlock. So what I'll be doing is I'll be taking this pitcher and just slowly pouring it in here. The pump sounds like it's dying. It's not, it's just vibrating because my little jig here is vibrating off the counter. It's not level in that spot. But we're back in business here, and the fluid is going down. I should have probably thought about this as well. I had the globe up on the counter for the first sucking into the pitchers, but then obviously you don't want this up higher. So I just ran a new silicone tube on the little TV stand here, and obviously lower than the thing. And I mean, you could raise the jig up or whatever you want to do. Just have it make sense. But there we go. So my ruler. So I don't know if you can see, there we go, sort of. It's a bad, we'll do it here, but you can see the numbers sort of from the ruler, which is cool. So yeah, so this is technically, I guess, going through the second time now. And once this starts filling up more, I'll take a little bit more information here, or video, excuse me. So I got done pouring the second pitcher into the first pitcher. I don't want to go through the whole airlock thing again. That was a pain. I put a little bit of distilled water in here just to kind of swish it about, and then I'll end up putting it in this at the very end because we're probably going to be a little bit short. So what I like to do is pour a little bit of distilled water in at the very end, because then it's going to suck up the distilled water and still push out most of the fluid that was already in the globe, rather than just topping off distilled water. I feel like I'm trying to keep as much master fluid in the system as possible. But we're going. It is definitely slower. Whoops. Sorry, I had to shut it off for just a second there. The tube suction up against the wall of the pitcher when I moved it, and that's what that noise was, because it squeezed the tube shut. But you can see it is definitely slower on this second filtering. It's still going, which is fine. I don't mind it taking a little bit longer, but this is a lot of fluid to be pushing through the Sawyer filter. So this thing is probably going to need 100% is going to need backwashed after this. And even the second filtering, this is probably not needed by the majority of people. This is just me being OCD, because that's, again, the clarity on that is pretty good. I mean, and then here is here's the, oh, that's cool. You can see the chair behind it. How neat. So there's the ruler. So how cool. That's pretty cool. Wow. Yeah, this is on the smaller globes. I guess you don't really see it that much, but the fact that you can see through it and you can kind of see the dining room or the kitchen table and chair there, that's pretty cool to me. So yeah. Okay, well, once this is done filling, we'll go back to it. Okay, so this is done. I put a little bit of distilled water and I did not do it fast enough. So again, it airlocked, which it's fine. I'm going to disconnect this tube because there's still master fluid in this tube. But you can kind of see by doing it that way, there is a little bit of froth, little bubbles, but I don't do anything to treat that. I just let it be, and they eventually disperse and pop and whatever. So, but the distilled water in the pitcher getting sucked up, pushing out the rest of the master fluid, we're pretty much at that level. And then I think once I disconnect this tube and the bubbles settle, we should pretty much be right at my tape line. So not that much fluid was lost, but the clarity, oh my God, bananas.